Hi, Blythe Stevens here, MFA Bliss Catalyst and creator of A Blythe Coach, helping multi-passionate creatives take leaps of faith. It's time to reflect and review May. Unbelievable, but it's true. And I've got inky fingers today from cleaning out and refilling pens, but we are here to take a look at what May brought in my journals and life. And I did finish a daily log book in May that I started in March with stickers from an art exhibition on museum night with some provocative questions for reflection. And actually the notebook itself came from one of the exhibits, so I was glad to be able to use it to reflect on that experience and on daily life. Moved into, then in my normal cover I had that book, and the next book, this blank Moleskine Cahier little guy, in the month of May and beyond. And I also finished up this book, another Moleskine Cahier, but a dot grid version for, as it says, morning pages during Q2 while I was on my trip home. And so before that and afterwards, I was in my usual college block lined book for morning pages, but to make it more portable for travel, I was working in here with all sorts of beautiful ink colors. Of course, one of my current joys. Out of my own interest and memory, I've been thinking about keeping a little tab, having seen other creators track on a monthly basis or longer their empties, what they're sort of using up, whether it's in the area of personal care or stationery. And I did have a few things I did use up in May. So a glue stick, I'm constantly using these glue sticks. They're the best ones I've tried and affordable, and I love to use less plastic, but I haven't found a better solution than that. I don't love the tape runner things or anything like that. So for all the kinds of media that I'm sticking down, I'm either using washi tape, which I also used up one of those, and just a regular glue stick. And I did use also a Lamy purple ink cartridge, as well as, of course, lots of other inks. But as far as cartridges, specifically in the month of May and supplies, those are a few things I went through. And for the seasonal book and annual book here in my Manufactica leather cover, I've got these Rhodiorama dot grid A5 notebooks. In May, I was in 2 locations on the Big Island of Hawai'i and then back in Cologne. It consisted of quality time at home with Ayla, with my parents and their dog and dear friends, and helping out around the house and yard and feasting and scouting, beaching, talking story, celebrating my dad's 79th birthday, and then returning to Germany and recovering from jet lag while I got back into my spring teaching schedule for the end of the school year and participated in some arts and culture events, a fun Golden 20s Bohème Sauvage party that I've been looking forward to all year in honor of a friend's birthday, and an art gallery opening. Our little nephew turned 2 years old and we celebrated that, as well as other sunshiny spring things, rose gardens and whatnot, even as I was looking back and reflecting on Q1 and forward at the rest of Q2 and beyond. Got some origami papers in here as decoration for that cover page. and moving into some quarter 1 and 2 summaries and just sort of quick jotted thoughts that I'll elaborate on as I look at my highlights or close for May. And I had started listing some events for upon my return in May and beyond, which I can carry forward on those sticky notes, and my media highlights of the month. I completed actually 2 in this current murder mystery series that I've been working on, the Flavia de Luce mysteries by Alan Bradley, number 5 and number 6. I wiped them out, even as I was making, reserving books, putting books on hold, that's what I mean to say, from other series and from other authors, and continue to work ahead on my nonfiction reading as well. Some song highlights were APT or Apata by Rose and Bruno Mars. We heard that so many times while at home, as well as back here in Germany. Die with a Smile, another Bruno Mars, but in this case collaborating with Lady Gaga, and an oldie but a goodie, Escapade by Janet Jackson, and a couple of comedy sitcom series, The Connors and Ghosts. May is a big month. It has 5 weeks, or that's how I count them when there's 4 days in that month, either the month going into or out of month. There's 4 months in the year that have 5 weeks and are especially jam-packed for that. May being one this year, and the first week of May actually included the end of April here in my record keeping, and that did include my Find Feedback workshop at West Hawaii Dance Theater, which was the first time offering that workshop. I really learned a lot from those students, and they got value too, and I'm excited to create future versions of that as well. And so that first week and second week of May, there's a lot of events happening still at home. We're trying coffee shops in Kona and eating lots of delicious local foods and seeing friends, and still having online classes, but also doing explorations of waterfalls and gullies and rainforest. And in the second week of the month, continuing to feast on amazing local food at Kona Grill, going to the beach and seeing monk seals. We saw dolphins, and I think the week before, and green sea turtles multiple times throughout, I think every time we went to the beach, and had some family medical things going on, which hopefully will move forward well, and headed on back to Cologne in order to celebrate Bohème Sauvage, and in person and on the phone Mother's Day. The third week of May was the flower moon, and I celebrated with seeing the rose garden. Roses are now in full bloom, and so I wanted to take advantage of that while Ayla was off at a karate training weekend. So I gave myself a little artist date at the rose garden near me, and was really still suffering from jet lag and allergies going into May, I believe. But having fun times with friends back here, continuing to teach and share valuable content during that time, doing my best to get back into the swing of things. Also, the 4th week in May, where we were hosted for an amazing lunch, and also went out with friends and saw this art gallery opening by Davida Capello, which was so fun. Great people watching and interacting, socializing, and of course the art and folks that we see at other art gallery openings, and sort of on the scene here. Cologne is actually not that big of a city, so fun to be a part of the culture here and continue to work and create work that week. And then moving into the week that spans May into the 1st of June, We did celebrate my nephew's birthday. I did a little bit of subbing, and we did a bit of adulting, working on our dishwasher, and then a little bit of kidding, playing with the new kickboard, and having some sort of a funky week because it was a holiday, but then I picked up other classes other times. So, and being the end of the month, also setting up invoices and getting ready for June, of which I have here a sneak preview because I'm just so tickled by my cover spread and how that's all coming together as I complete it for the month that we're currently in real time. But yeah, that's a peek back at May. It was so action-packed in 2 different countries and all sorts of projects, and also trying to get back to feeling my normal energy level and sleep cycles and hunger cues, and just everything gets all wacky, which is fine. I know to expect that, and I have lots of tools to work with it, and it's good. But I just know with that sort of changing time, 12 hours of time zones, and just basically flying halfway around the world does have a bit of a long effect. That's just part of the game, and doing everything I can to just continue to dance and teach and be joy in the world during the month of May. Of course, there's lots of things going on outside of my particular perspective in life, but that's what it looked like for me in this May 2025. I'm curious what you got up to in May and what you have wrapping up the end of Q2 and moving into the summer. If you're joining me in real time, taking a peek into my life from this perspective. In my analog system, I do have digital planning and, of course, lots of things that go on that we don't necessarily see fully represented here. But tell me what you've been up to, what your current challenges are, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Saying hi, take good care until then, and keep dancing.